5 things God wants you to let go before he can bless you. In the style of Maya Angelou, my beloved, before the rain of heaven can fall upon your thirsty soul, before the rivers of blessing can rush through the desert of your life, there are burdens you must put down, chains you must loosen, weights you must release. For the hands that are already full of yesterday cannot grasp the miracles of tomorrow. The heart that clings to old wounds cannot dance in new joy. And the mind that rehearses its griefs and grudges cannot sing the songs of triumph. So hear me when I say, there are 5 things the Almighty whispers for you to release. Let them fall like autumn leaves. Let them scatter like dust in the wind, so that your spirit may rise.
1.
Let go of bitterness. Bitterness is the silent thief of your joy. It creeps in when betrayal bruises you, when injustice lingers too long at your door. It tells you to sip its poison daily, but child, it is you who withers while your enemy sleeps soundly. God says, vengeance is mine. Do not let your soul become a prison of unforgiveness. Lift it up, let it go, for the soil of bitterness will never grow blessing. Release it and feel your hands open wide, for the fruit of peace, for the harvest of joy. Bitterness, my child, is a slow poison. It does not rush like a roaring lion. It creeps like a whisper in the dark, unnoticed, unchallenged, until it takes root in the tender soil of the heart. It is born in those quiet moments when you feel wronged, when you feel abandoned, when betrayal stings you like a thorn that will not come loose. You carry it in silence, perhaps even in dignity, but beneath the smile, beneath the laughter, the seed of bitterness grows wild. And oh, how it feeds on your tears, how it drinks from your disappointments, how it thrives in the soil of old wounds left unattended. I have seen men and women, tall as cedars and strong as lions, wither under the weight of bitterness. They wore it like a crown, not knowing it was a shackle. They held on to it like a treasure, not knowing it was a curse. Bitterness will tell you that you are justified, that you are right to hold on to the offense, that your anger is the only justice you will ever receive. And perhaps for a moment it feels righteous. But do not be deceived. Bitterness is not your ally, it is not your friend. It is the thief that comes not only to steal your peace, but to steal your tomorrow. When you wake in the morning and the sun greets you, bitterness whispers, remember what they did. When you stand at the table of blessing, bitterness slides into the chair beside you and says, you don't deserve this joy, not after what happened. And so you sit a banquet before you, yet you starve because your soul is too heavy to eat. Child, bitterness is a chain disguised as memory. It binds you to yesterday while tomorrow waits with open arms. You think you are punishing the one who hurt you, but you are only imprisoning yourself. Your enemy sleeps, your betrayer laughs, your offender moves on, and there you are, clutching the ashes of anger as if they were gold. But listen closely now, for I tell you truth. The God who formed you, who knows your name, who numbers the very hairs upon your head, he does not dwell in a bitter heart. He does not plant his blessings in soil that has been poisoned with resentment. He will wait, patient as eternity itself, until you are ready to unclench your fist, until you are ready to release what you cannot carry into your destiny. And I know it is not easy. Forgiveness is not a soft song to be sung on Sunday morning. Forgiveness is a fierce act, a warrior's choice. It is the decision to unclench your hand though your fingers tremble. It is the courage to set down the heavy stones you have carried, even when the scars remind you of the pain. Forgiveness is not forgetting. No, it is not pretending the wound was never there. Forgiveness is saying, I will not let this wound define me. I will not let this pain be the author of my story. Oh, how bitterness longs to write your story, to ink every page with anger, to color every chapter with sorrow. But you are more than your wounds. You are more than what was done to you. You are more than the betrayal, more than the rejection, more than the lies that were spoken over you. Do not let bitterness name you. Do not let bitterness cage you. Child, let it go. I have seen what happens when a woman lets go of her bitterness. She begins to bloom like spring after a long winter. Her laughter returns, not shallow but deep and rich like the sound of a river. Her eyes shine again, not dimmed by tears of yesterday, but brightened by hope for tomorrow. I have seen men, bowed by the weight of unforgiveness, stand tall again when they release the anger they carried. Their backs straighten, their hearts beat lighter, their voices grow steady with peace. Bitterness cannot coexist with blessing. One must leave before the other can arrive. If you hold bitterness, you shut the door to joy. If you hold anger, you bar the windows against light. But if you release it, if you say, God, I cannot carry this anymore, take it, heal me, then the blessings rush in like a flood, unstoppable, undeniable, uncontainable. Do not think you are weak when you forgive. No, forgiveness is not weakness. Weakness is clinging to bitterness, hiding behind its armor, afraid to let the wound breathe. Strength is saying, I release you. I release this pain. I release myself. Strength is choosing freedom when slavery is easier. And freedom, my beloved, is the gift God longs to give you. Freedom to laugh without remembering who stole your joy. Freedom to love without hearing the echo of betrayal. Freedom to live without the taste of poison on your tongue. So tonight, if you are weary, if you are heavy laden with anger that has burned too long in your chest, I bid you set it down. You do not need it for the journey ahead. The road is long, and the blessing is heavy enough to carry. Bitterness has no seat in your chariot, no place in your story, no room in your destiny. Look at your hands, beloved. If they are clenched around bitterness, they cannot receive the miracle God is pressing into your palm. Look at your heart. If it is crowded with resentment, there is no space for joy to dwell. Look at your soul. If it is chained by old wounds, it cannot rise into the fullness of the blessing God has already prepared. So let it go. Let the rivers of forgiveness wash it away. Let the winds of mercy carry it far from you. And when you rise tomorrow, rise lighter, rise freer, rise open. For then and only then can God pour His blessing into you, unmeasured, unending, overflowing. 2. Let go of fear. Fear is a liar dressed in shadows. It will tell you you cannot, you will not, you must not. But the truth, beloved, is that you were created in courage, knit together with threads of divine boldness. Fear is the fence between you and your promised land. But oh, when you step through, you will see the Red Seas part. You will see the walls of Jericho fall. Let go of fear. For God has not given you a spirit of timidity, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. Fear, beloved, is a shadow that looms larger than its substance. It does not always roar like thunder. Sometimes it whispers like the rustle of dry leaves in the night. Fear waits at the edge of your dreams. It waits in the silence after your prayers. It waits in the pause before your next step. It crouches low, pretending to protect you, but in truth it binds you, robs you, reduces you. Fear is a thief dressed as a friend. It says, I only want to keep you safe, while it builds bars around your courage and locks the gates of your destiny. I have walked among those who lived in fear's shadow, and I have seen the dimming of their light. They were people of great promise, born with fire in their bones, yet they walked with eyes lowered, hands folded, and voices hushed. They were lions convinced they were lambs, eagles persuaded to crawl with chickens, queens and kings who traded crowns for chains. Fear told them they were not enough. Fear told them the waters were too deep, the walls too high, the enemy too strong. And they believed it until they forgot the strength that God Himself had placed in them. Child, hear me when I tell you, fear is a liar. Fear is a storyteller who bends the truth, who paints shadows as monsters and whispers failure before you have even tried. Fear will tell you that tomorrow is too heavy to carry, that tomorrow has not even yet arrived. Fear will tell you the storm will sink your boat, but it forgets the one who calms the seas with a word. Fear will tell you the giant is too big, but it forgets the sling in your hand and the power of the God who stands behind you. I have known fear. I will not stand before you as if I am untouched by its grasp. I have heard its voice in the night. I have felt its grip on my chest. I have seen it tell me to sit down when I was called to stand, to be silent when I was meant to speak. Fear will try to hush your voice because your voice carries power. Fear will try to still your hands because your hands are designed to build. Fear will try to paralyze your steps because your feet are ordained to tread upon holy ground. But I tell you, there is something greater than fear. There is love, perfect love. And love casts out fear. There is faith. And faith is the fire that burns fear's web to ash. There is God, the Eternal One, who has not given you the spirit of fear, but of power, and of love, and of a sound mind. Oh, child, power is your inheritance. Do you not know you are born of strength? In your very breath is the echo of creation's command. When God spoke, "Let there be light," that same word resounds in you. You are not made for trembling. You are not fashioned for shrinking. You are built to stand, to rise, to move forward. Fear may knock at your door, but courage is your birthright. And love, yes, love, is your compass. Love will lead you where fear tells you not to go. Love will send you into the fire for a friend, into the storm for your children, into the battle for your calling. Love will silence fear, because love believes in the God who holds tomorrow. Love does not ask, "What if I fail?" Love asks, "What if I never try?" And that sound mind, oh beloved, that clear and steady mind, it is the anchor in the waves. Fear scatters thoughts like leaves in the wind, but the mind God gives is sober, steady, rooted in truth. The sound mind whispers back to fear, "You are not real. You are smoke without fire. You are a shadow without substance." The sound mind remembers what God has done, recalls every mountain moved, every storm stilled, every battle won, and it refuses to tremble at the next trial. Fear is not always loud. Sometimes it comes softly, dressed in the clothes of reason. It says, "Don't risk it, don't dream too big, don't step too far." It sounds wise, it sounds safe. But what is safety if it costs your destiny? What is comfort if it chains your calling? Child, the ship is safest in the harbor, but that is not what ships are built for. You were not crafted for the shallows. You were designed for the deep. Step out. Step out though your knees tremble. Step out though your voice shakes. Step out though the road looks long. For when your foot touches the waters, they will part. When your sling releases, the giant will fall. When your lips open, the mountain will move. Fear will not leave because you wait for courage to come. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the choice to walk in spite of it. It is standing tall while fear rattles its chains. It is speaking when your throat is dry. It is moving forward when the ground beneath you quakes. Courage is not the roar of lions. Sometimes it is the quiet whisper, "I will not stop. I will not bow. I will not give in." And I tell you this, on the other side of fear, there is freedom. On the other side of fear, there is blessing. On the other side of fear, there is the life you prayed for, the destiny you dreamed of, the promise God has written for you. Fear is the gatekeeper to your blessing. And the only key is faith. Step through. Step through though the gate shakes and rattles. Step through and you will find that the chains were illusions, the bars were made of mist, the prison never truly held you. Child, if you are trembling tonight, trembling at the thought of tomorrow, trembling at the memory of yesterday, trembling at the unknown, breathe deep. The breath in your lungs is proof that God is not done. The beating of your heart is testimony that your journey is not over. Fear may shout, but God still reigns. Fear may press against you, but His hand still holds you. Fear may shake you, but it cannot undo what God has spoken over you. So rise. Rise in the face of fear. Rise though your knees buckle. Rise though your voice quivers. Rise because you are not alone. The one who walks on water walks beside you. The one who slays giants fights for you. The one who calms storms holds your hand. Fear will come, yes, but it will not conquer. Fear will whisper, yes, but it will not command. Fear will press, yes, but it will not prevail. For greater is He that is in you than he that is in the world. And when you walk in that truth, fear becomes nothing more than a passing shadow on the wall. And beloved, shadows cannot harm you. 3. Let go of toxic relationships. Every friend is not a companion for your destiny. Every hand you hold is not meant to walk you home. Some people love the sound of your pain. Others delight in the dimming of your light. But hear me, God cannot place His chosen ones in your circle if you keep the counterfeit close. Do not fear solitude, for sometimes the silence is God's sacred classroom. Let go of the ones who drain you, and God will send those who lift you. There are people, my beloved, who walk into your life wearing smiles but carrying daggers. There are voices that call you friend, but speak curses behind your back. There are hands that hold yours, not to steady you, but to keep you bound. And oh, how tender our hearts can be, how eager we are to belong, how deeply we long for company. Yet not every companion is sent from heaven. Some arrive as lessons, not blessings. Some enter as weights, not wings. And before God can elevate you, He will whisper softly, firmly, let them go. Every soul is not meant to walk the whole journey with you. Some are only visitors meant for a season, yet we cling to them as if eternity bound us together. Some are only scaffolding for a moment of construction, but we try to make them the foundation of our house. And the danger, child, is not in their leaving, it is in your refusal to release them. For how can you rise on eagle's wings while clinging to those who live in the valley? How can you run your race if you are tied to the ankles of those who refuse to move? There are people who thrive on your pain. Their ears perk up when you falter. Their spirits delight when your light dims. They will call it love. They will name it friendship, but love does not rejoice in your tears. True friendship does not mock your hope. A true companion celebrates your rising, claps for your victories, wipes your brow when the journey is long. But toxic ties, they pull you backward. They keep you rehearsing old failures. They keep you in the cycle of smallness. They keep you questioning your worth. God, in His infinite mercy, cannot allow you to carry them where He is taking you. The promised land is not for every voice that knows your name. Some voices are too heavy for the destiny you carry. And so the divine pruning begins. A friend drifts away. A companion grows distant. A relationship falls apart. And you in your humanness cry, why? Why must they leave? But heaven answers, because they cannot go where I am sending you. They cannot sit in the place I have prepared. They would poison the cup I am pouring for you. Child, do not mistake removal for rejection. Do not confuse pruning for punishment. When God removes, it is always to protect, always to prepare, always to prepare, always to preserve. He sees what you cannot see. He hears conversations when you are not in the room. He knows intentions hidden behind kind eyes and soft words. And sometimes the greatest mercy He gives you is distance. It is not easy. The heart aches. The memories sting. The silence after their absence feels like an empty room where laughter once dwelled. You will be tempted to run back, to mend what God Himself has torn. But be still. Trust the wisdom of heaven. Trust that loneliness can be holy, that solitude can be sacred. Do not fear the quiet. For in the quiet God will speak. In the silence He will whisper new songs. He will breathe fresh strength. He will draw you closer to Himself. I have seen women remain tied to relationships that drained them until they became shadows of themselves. I have seen men cling to companions who mocked their vision until they forgot they even had one. Toxic ties are not always loud. Sometimes they come disguised in laughter. Sometimes they come wrapped in care. But watch closely. Do you leave their presence lighter, or do you leave heavier? Do their words build you, or do they carve you down? Do their prayers cover you, or do their whispers expose you? Beloved, you must learn to discern. You must learn to release without bitterness, to let go without hatred. You need not curse them. Simply bless them and move on. For if they are not ordained for your destiny, then no amount of grasping will make them fit. It is like pouring bitter water into sweet wine. One drop will change the whole cup. Protect your vessel. Protect your spirit. Protect your peace. Understand this: God will never leave you in emptiness. When He removes, He replaces. When He prunes, He promises growth. When He closes one door, He opens another far greater. If you let go of the hand that drags you down, He will place in yours the hand that lifts you up. If you release the voice that ridicules your dream, He will send the one that reminds you, you can, you will, you must. If you walk away from the crowd that mocks your light, He will surround you with those who fan your flame. And sometimes, beloved, the toxic tie is not another person at all. Sometimes the toxic relationship is the one you have with yourself. Sometimes it is your own voice, rehearsing failures, repeating lies spoken over you, whispering, "You are not worthy. You are not enough. You cannot be your own oppressor and expect freedom. You cannot chain yourself with doubt and still expect to soar." Release even the false friendship of your inner critic. Tell yourself the truth that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, that you are chosen, that you are loved beyond measure. I tell you this, not with lightness, but with the weight of knowing it is better to walk alone in truth than to walk with company in deception. It is better to stand in silence with God than to stand in noise with those who secretly hope you fall. It is better to sit alone with peace than to sit at a crowded table with poison. So open your hands, let go of what drains you, release what diminishes you, step away from circles that suffocate you, and do not look back. For Lot's wife looked back and turned to salt. You must face forward. You must walk forward. You must believe that God's provision for companionship, for friendship, for partnership is greater than anything you have lost. Yes, it will sting. Yes, you will cry. Yes, you will ache in the midnight hour for the familiar voices. But morning will come, and in that morning you will rise lighter. You will rise freer. You will rise ready. And the ones who walk with you then will not be weights, but wings. They will not be leeches, but lifelines. They will not be chains, but keys. Child, your destiny is too precious to be sabotaged by counterfeit companions. Your calling is too sacred to be shared with those who cannot honor it. Your promise is too holy to be handled by unclean hands. Trust God to bring the right ones. Trust Him to remove the wrong ones. And in the meantime, walk with Him, and you will never walk alone. 4. Let go of guilt and shame. You are not your mistakes. You are not the ashes of your failures. You are not the echo of your past sins. Do you not know? The blood of Calvary already washed you clean. The cross already cried out, "It is finished." But too many of us live still in the shadow of regret, dragging our past like a heavy coffin. Beloved, set it down. For when God forgives, He forgets. He casts your sins into the sea of no remembrance. Why should you clutch them still? Release guilt, release shame, and walk in the royal garments of grace. There are ghosts that follow us, not ghosts of the grave, but ghosts of memory. They whisper in the night. They haunt our mornings. They sit on the edge of our joy and remind us of yesterday's wounds. Their names are guilt and shame, and child, they are cruel companions. They cling tightly to the soul. They drape themselves over your shoulders like heavy cloaks, and they tell you you are not worthy of love, not worthy of blessing, not worthy of God's grace. Guilt is a chain forged of what you did. Shame is a chain forged of what you believe you are. And oh, how they bind together, twisting, knotting, tightening until your spirit feels small and unworthy. You walk into rooms with your head bowed low, not because others condemn you, but because you have already condemned yourself. You pray, but your own heart whispers, "He will not hear me." You dream, but your own mind sneers, "Who are you to dream after what you have done?" But I tell you the truth, beloved, guilt and shame are not the voice of God. They are the voice of chains rattling, the echo of a prison you were never meant to stay in. For when Christ hung on that cross, He carried every guilt, every shame, every stain of sin. And when He cried, "It is finished," He did not mean halfway. He did not mean partial freedom. He meant complete. He meant full. He meant chains broken, debts paid, burdens lifted. But we, in our humanness, pick the chains back up. We carry them like trophies of regret. We clutch them like proof that we are beyond redemption. We believe the enemy's lie that we must suffer forever for what has already been covered. And so we walk, heavy laden, while God calls, lay it down. Lay it down. The burden is too heavy for you, but not too heavy for me. I have known people who lived decades under the weight of one mistake, one wrong turn, one failure, one fall, and their entire lives became an altar to that single moment. They measured every joy against it. They silenced every song because of it. They clipped their own wings and called it humility. But humility is not condemning yourself. Humility is knowing you are nothing without God but everything with Him. Humility is accepting His grace with gratitude, not refusing it with guilt. Shame will whisper that you are your mistake, that you are your addiction, that you are your betrayal, that you are your failure, but you are not the ashes of your past. You are the beauty that God brings forth from those ashes. You are not the broken pieces. You are the mosaic He creates from them. You are not the sin. You are the testimony of grace that overcame it. Child, the past cannot be undone, but it can be redeemed. The scar cannot be erased, but it can be healed. And when you let go of guilt and shame, the scar becomes a story, not a chain. It becomes a testimony that speaks to others. If He lifted me, He can lift you. If He forgave me, He can forgive you. If He restored me, He can restore you. You see, the enemy fears a forgiven soul. For a forgiven soul walks in boldness. A forgiven soul prays with fire. A forgiven soul testifies with power. That is why guilt and shame linger. They are the enemy's attempt to keep you silent, to keep you bowed, to keep you bound. But when you rise and say, yes, I fell, yes, I failed. But I am not my failure, I am not my sin. I am not my past. I am redeemed, I am forgiven, I am free. Then heaven rejoices and hell trembles. Do not confuse conviction with condemnation. Conviction comes from God. It is sharp, it is clear, it leads you to repentance and then to peace. Condemnation comes from the enemy. It is vague, it is heavy, it drags you down and leaves you hopeless. Conviction says you did wrong, but I love you still. Come back. Condemnation says you are wrong, and you will never be anything else. Hear me well. God convicts, but He never condemns His children. And if God Himself has called you forgiven, who are you to call yourself guilty still? If the King has set you free, why would you live as a prisoner? If the judge has declared case dismissed, why would you return to the courtroom? It is pride, not piety, that makes us hold on to guilt. It is pride that says, my sin is greater than His grace. Child, there is no sin greater than His grace. None. Release it. Release the shame of yesterday's mistakes. Release the guilt of the words you cannot unsay, the choices you cannot undo, the roads you cannot retrace. Place them at the foot of the cross and walk away lighter, for the God of mercy has promised, though your sins be as scarlet, I will make them white as snow. I've seen people bloom again after laying down their shame, their shoulders lifted, their eyes brightened, their laughter returned, not hollow but full, rich, unashamed. I have seen them serve with fire, pray with passion, love with freedom. Guilt makes you hide, shame makes you shrink, but grace makes you shine. And oh, how the world needs your light. You are not defined by your darkest night. You are defined by the God who brought you through it. You are not chained to your lowest valley. You are crowned by the one who leads you to higher ground. Stop rehearsing the story of failure and begin proclaiming the story of forgiveness. Stop clutching the ashes and start wearing the crown. The blessing God has for you cannot be poured into hands that still clutch guilt. It cannot fill a heart still overflowing with shame. Empty yourself. Make room. Let His mercy flood you. Let His grace wrap you. Let His forgiveness dress you in new garments. And when you stand, stand tall, not because you have never fallen, but because you have been lifted. So walk forward, beloved, not as a prisoner of guilt, not as a child of shame, but as a living testimony of grace. Walk forward knowing you are forgiven. Walk forward knowing you are loved. Walk forward knowing that nothing, no mistake, no sin, no past can separate you from the love of God. For guilt and shame are heavy chains, but His love is freedom, and freedom is your inheritance. 5. Let go of control. Oh, how we love to steer our own ship, to write our own script, to orchestrate every step of the dance. But life will teach you. Storms do not ask your permission. The winds will change without your command. And God, in His wisdom, is asking you to loosen your grip, to lay your plans at His altar, to whisper, "Not my will, but thine be done." For only when you surrender will you taste the sweetness of His design. Control is a heavy burden, but trust is a feather that lifts you to His will. Control, beloved, is a cloak we wrap around our trembling shoulders. It gives us the illusion of safety, the illusion of certainty, the illusion that if we grip hard enough, if we plan long enough, if we guard fiercely enough, we can keep life from unraveling. We map our steps. We dictate our schedules. We write our futures in ink as if we are the author and the finisher. But life, my child, does not always bow to our plans. The winds rise, the waters shift, the storms roll in, and all our careful designs scatter like paper in the rain. And yet, we hold on tighter. We grip the reins of our own journey until our knuckles turn white. We say, if I can just control this, it will not hurt me. If I can just control them, they will not leave me. If I can just control the outcome, I will not fail. But control is a heavy, heavy burden, and it was never meant to be carried by human hands. God is whispering to you, let it go. The hands that grip so tightly cannot receive. The fists that clench in fear cannot be opened for blessing. The heart that insists on its own way cannot be molded into His way. Control is the enemy of surrender, and surrender is the very soil in which blessings grow. I have seen people spend their whole lives trying to steer every current, trying to bend every storm to their will, and yet they never found peace. Because peace is not found in control, peace is found in trust. The soul does not rest when it believes it is master of everything. The soul rests when it leans back and whispers, "Not my will, but thine be done." Child, let me tell you a secret that is no secret at all. You are not the captain of this ship. You are the passenger. You are not the composer of this symphony. You are the instrument. You are not the author of this story. You are the beloved character being guided by the pen of the Almighty. And oh, what freedom it is to stop pretending you are in charge, and instead to rest in the one who truly is. Control makes you anxious. It keeps you awake at night, rehearsing every possibility, worrying over every turn. Control convinces you that you must prepare for every outcome, but still you lie restless, because deep down you know you cannot control the wind, you cannot control the waves. You cannot control the hearts of others, the turns of the world, the hand of time. But God can. So why, child, do you wrestle the wheel from His hands? Why do you fight to govern what He has already written? Why do you cling to the illusion of control when He is offering the reality of peace? I know why. Because surrender feels like weakness. Because letting go feels like defeat. Because to trust another is to risk being broken. But this is not surrender to man. This is surrender to God. And He is not like man that He should lie. He is not like man that He should betray. He is faithful. He is steady. He is good. To surrender to Him is not to lose, it is to gain. It is to trade your small vision for His grand design. It is to lay down your fragile plans and take up His eternal promises. It is to rest in the truth that His ways are higher than your ways, His thoughts higher than your thoughts, His love greater than your fear. Do you remember the garden, child? The night when even the Savior Himself knelt beneath the olive trees, wet like blood upon His brow. He knew the weight of what was to come. He felt the shadow of the cross drawing near. And in that moment He prayed, "If it be possible, let this cup pass from me." Even He, even Christ, wrestled with the desire for another way. But then in surrender he said, "Nevertheless, not my will but thine be done." And because he surrendered, salvation was born. Because he released control, redemption flowed. If he, the Son of God, could lay down control in trust of his Father, can you not do the same? Child, you must loosen your grip. You must unclench your hands. You must step into the unknown with faith, not fear. The blessing you long for is waiting, but it cannot be placed in closed fists. You must release the pen so God can write. You must release the wheel so God can steer. You must release the burden so God can carry. There is power in surrender. Do not mistake it for defeat. It is not a bowing down in weakness. It is a rising up in faith. It is not abandoning the fight. It is entrusting the battle to the one who cannot lose. When you let go of control, you find that life is lighter. You breathe deeper. You laugh freer. You discover that the world does not fall apart without your tight grip, for the world was never held by your hand. It was held, and is still held by His. So what is it, beloved, that you are clinging to? Is it the fear of tomorrow? Is it the pain of yesterday? Is it the people you cannot change, no matter how hard you try? Release them. Place them in the hands of the Almighty. He can heal where you cannot. He can change hearts where you cannot. He can make a way where you cannot. I have seen miracles born from surrender. I have seen doors open when people finally stop trying to break them down. I have seen healing come when people finally stop clinging to their own remedies. I have seen peace flood a soul when they whispered through tears, "God, I give it to you." Control is a prison. Trust is freedom. And freedom is where God's blessing dwells. So tonight, if you are weary from carrying it all, weary from holding it all, weary from trying to be your own savior, set it down. You were never meant to bear it alone. Lay it at His feet. Lay your plans, your fears, your dreams, your burdens, your control, and walk away lighter, walk away freer, walk away open. For then and only then will you be ready for what He has prepared. For then and only then will His blessings flow without measure. For then and only then will you know the sweetness of peace that passes all understanding. Control is the illusion. Surrender is the truth. And the truth, beloved, shall set you free.